Welcome to the Laws of Life webcast network. I am your host, Blanca, and today we've got the laws of physical evidence with Dr. David Lippman. What is up, Dr. David?
Hey, Blanca. Good morning. Nice to see you again.
You too. What's the good word today? What's news on the street?
Well, there's going to be a little bit of a different flair, and I'm going to kind of bring a little bit of comedy into it. You know, at least I think it's funny. I know I'm not as funny as I think I am, so that's okay. It doesn't seem that way. But one of the things that I've, kind of learned in terms of how the body works, musculoskeletal system, our body interacts and everything works together in sync and sort of like an orchestra. And, there's a rhythm to the way our body moves. And, when we lose that rhythm, that's when things start to become dysfunctional and painful. So, the way the body interacts is just like a finely tuned orchestra with all the parts working and the rhythm and all that working together. And so I have a guest on today that's got a very, very interesting perspective on rhythm in the body as it applies to the game of golf. And it happens to be a good friend of mine. We met about 30 years ago. And the cool part is that he was the drummer of a heavy metal band called Scatterbrain. And I met him. I had a gym-based practice, and he was working out there. We met him. We just kind of hit it off, liked each other very much from the beginning. And anyway, it reminded me that my mom said when I was younger, listening to loud rock and roll music will never amount to anything. Well, Mom, you were wrong, because I'd like to bring my good friend Mike Boyko from Tempo Emotion, and want to introduce him and give him a chance to let him tell you how he has found rhythm and how that applies to the game of golf. So, Mike, I'd like to introduce you to the audience today. Mike Boyko. This is
everybody. And hello, my dear friend of 30. It's been 30 years already, huh?
Pretty much, yeah. And boy, that was quick.
That was quick, but we've been grooving ever since.
That's right. Grooving. And speaking of grooving, I'm really excited because living here in South Florida, there's so many people that play golf, and I love the concept of how you've taken your music and rhythm that comes natural to you and create an application to a sport. And how'd you come up with that? Like, where did that all start? Obviously, you were a drummer for a long time. I remember when you just got into golf. So how did that all evolve for you?
Well, all right. It actually happened in the 90s when I started getting the golf bug, and I absolutely loved the game. And I went out and I was horrible. Like my tempo and rhythm in my golf swing was terrible. But the thing is I was hired as a drummer and my tempo was impeccable. So I said, whoa. There's a disconnect here. And there's something about motion and movement to what I do as a drummer. So what I decided to do is to kind of apply the language of music with beats and rhythms, and said that, we could put a beat to any movement that we do. And I decided to start doing that. And all of a sudden, my golf game started really coming together. I started playing better. I started feeling better. And funnily enough, my drumming actually got better because I really started focusing on movements, like the different parts of my body moving in different rhythms, and really connecting with it, really starting to embody what that feeling was like to be in a rhythmic state of mind. So, as technology got better and better, I was able to take what I do and put it online in a subscription service that allows golfers from all over the world to actually sign on through our app and now go and work on their golf swing, the tempo of their golf swing and the rhythm of their golf swing. And it's been such a great ride. I'm here actually in Orlando, Florida, and I'm working out of, for the past 3 years, the Mike Bender Golf Academy. Now, Mike is one of the top coaches in the world. I think he's number 3 in the world, and he just absolutely loves what we do. And for that to happen, I just get to work with the greatest people, from PGA Tour players to, amateurs, really good players, and then players that are just starting, that just really want to play good golf. And it's just fabulous to see somebody actually work with these principles, the system, and then they start hitting the ball great, and then they feel better. Because as you know, I mean, your service is all about feeling better too. So that's what we're about here, and that's what I like to kind of pass on. What I do in this life is to help people to feel better. So that's pretty much it.
That's so cool. And I just want to acknowledge Camille Robb. She just kind of talked about reflecting on the fact that we've been friends for as long as we have, and she's saying that's a blessing that, you know, we still have a friendship lifelong. And so thanks for acknowledging that, Camille. One of the things that really interests me, because now, you know, I'm starting to think as you're speaking about the whole body movement thing, I think there's application for what you do to many things, not just the task of a golf swing, but even there's probably some rehabilitative application in terms of people that I work with and getting them back. Because one of the things that I've learned is that, you know, they lose the mechanical rhythm when there's some kind of pain syndrome and dysfunction, and helping them regain or relearn how to walk, or, you know, relearn how to move where they're not compensating and losing that, you know, that normal mechanically correct way. I bet you there's an application for some of the things you do. We're going to talk about this because I just listening to you, it came to me and I was like, okay, there's something here beyond just golf. So have you worked with some professionals too, like high level guys and women in your field using this tempo and motion?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I've worked with when he was a junior, I worked with Jordan Spieth, who's a Masters champion, and he actually just won this past weekend. And I worked with him when he was a junior, and I've been blessed to work with him and his coach Cameron McCormick. And so yeah, I work with that caliber too. And you'll see a video here in a minute. There's a woman that just came from Kentucky, and she just wanted to play good golf, and she doesn't shoot below 100. But she just loves to go out there and feel good. And you'll see an example of her just swinging and feeling great. So it doesn't matter how good you are. It just matters how good you feel when you're doing it. You know? So Dave, just to touch on a really quick thing is what you're talking about, like gait rehabilitation too, helping people walk. And you'll find too, when people are in pain, it seems like they don't connect with their body because they're in pain. So they're kind of outside of it. What I'm finding is when people listen to the beats, the cadences and the rhythms, they forget about their conscious mind and they connect with their bodies. And it allows them to really truly feel their bodies. So it kind of takes them out of that overly mental, critical way of thinking to, oh, wow, I'm just following what my body's doing naturally. I'm not thinking about it. And it's just a wonderful, liberating space to be in.
Wow, that's amazing. So you sort of get that unconscious consciousness and getting into the groove, I guess, to quote how many songs probably. But I'm really interested in seeing that demo video. If you want to have Chris bring it up now, Blanca, that would be great. I think it's going to be a nice
4, 3, 2, 1. Ready, set, go. 4, 3, 2, 1. Ready, set, go.
Whoa.
4,
Yeah, you said that.
4, 3, 2, 1.
I mean, that does everything for me. I mean, it just, when you see people getting excited to do that, I didn't do anything. You know, it's just they do it, they connect with it, and that's what I've been seeing as a result. So I'm pretty blessed to be able to offer what I do to people and see the results that we're getting.
Wow, it's great. And again, just what you had mentioned about people kind of disconnecting from their body, it does happen because just the way the nervous system works, when somebody is in pain, when those pain fibers are stimulated, in the beginning, they're going right to the cerebral cortex. So it's a direct connection to the brain. No short stops or no stopovers. But within about 24 hours, it downgrades and actually starts to synapse first in the spinal cord. So it downgrades the intensity because the brain can't have that constant stimulation. So it downgrades it. But in downgrading that sensation, it also downgrades all the sensation coming through those tracks, from the joints, from the muscles, you know, so you lose the mechanoreceptors and that, you know, spatial awareness. So there is a neurological disconnect from that. But it's interesting how you're feeling, or finding, I should say, that how rhythm, which is also is a stimulation too. It's coming in auditorially, and then it's going to also, I think there's a natural thing about us wanting to move naturally when we hear rhythm. I found myself, as I was watching the video, starting like to move to it. And so it's interesting that that can actually help bridge that gap and reconnect through other channels that could supersede those pain signals too. So it's a very interesting concept, and I want to like think it through and talk to you about it more, because I think there's a lot here, but it's so cool that you've got it, you know, already figured out for the golf swing, and that you've already got it implemented and people have been using it. How many years has it been now? I know it's been quite a few, right?
I think we started the company about 13 years ago, but I've been developing it since the mid 90s. So like I had said in the beginning, well, technology had to kind of catch up. And thank you to Steve Jobs for creating the MP3 player that allows us to now play these tracks.
Right.
And of course, it's where it is today. But yeah, it's just a lot of fun. And, you know, I really wanted to touch on something like, because you're talking about neuroscience a lot, and been really researching a lot of this too, is a lot of times golfers, what they do is they show up to the first tee and they're so nervous to hit the ball because you have peer pressure. You got people watching, you got people in your group watching you. You start getting panicked. Am I going to hit the ball? And it's so ridiculous, but it's what we put ourselves through. What I find is the more that you train and you practice with these tracks, the more calm you get. And I'll do a really quick example. I'm a big proponent of like brainwave patterns, right? So when we're in high beta brainwaves, we're talking fast, where everything is, we're trying to navigate our day. Well, oh my gosh, what do I got to do? Get to this appointment. I'm going to get to this appointment. And then we start getting into rhythm coherence. Now we start going down into alpha state, where the creativity happens. This is where you can actually focus. And now you can flow and create exactly what it is you want. I'm not talking about going to sleep. It's just calming. And if you sensed my voice and my energy just going down, that's exactly the point. Putting yourself into that alpha state by calling it up at any time. And a lot of times what golfers do, or I even think people during the day, is they get so caught in these unconscious thoughts that drive them out of themselves that they don't know how to get back and calm down.
Wow.
That's why music is so beautiful. If you put something on during the day, it's like, oh gosh, I feel so good now.
That's so cool. And Camille, who's listening to us now, she had mentioned and kind of commented as she saw the video that, you know, how smooth that whole, you know, start to finish was as approaching, you know, the tee and going through that to the rhythm that was being played. So thanks for that comment, Camille. And
thank you, Camille. And that is mapped out. That is actually choreographed. That all of those movements are choreographed to those steps. Like his steps are choreographed, the head movements, like if you notice already, set, it's all choreographed, and it's in the actual tempo of his swing. And that's and I know we don't have much time here, but we could spend hours, I know. But the thing is everybody, each one of us has our own authentic pace and tempo on how we do things. Now, if you notice that young man who's a great young athlete, his tempo was different than the woman's tempo. You notice the woman's tempo was a little bit slower. And that was by looking and analyzing her movements, doing questionnaires of kind of understanding how she likes to do things and coming to a really good baseline and getting her to a great average of tempo for her to work on. So it's quite an interesting process.
Very cool. So Camille just commented, this is great. Music frees the mind and the body will follow. So
exactly.
Love it, Camille.
Exactly.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Camille.
And, you know, you could find Mike at tempoandmotion.com. Definitely suggest you go there. Very interesting, as you can see, not just for the golf swing itself, but there's a lot more here. And as Mike here is in Orlando, as he said, I'm here in South Florida in Boca Raton. You guys can like us if you'd like and share us if you can, because I'd like to think that a lot of people, especially with the game of golf, would be really interested in this and, you know, can really not only help their game, but actually help them get centered and more calm. And who doesn't need that these days, right?
Exactly.
So Blanca, I wanted you to do a quick thing for us. Mike and I met back in the early 90s, and we have a picture from back then when he was shortly after his heavy metal rock and roll drumming days. So why don't you pull that photo right up? It's about 1992. We were at a Christmas party.
Hello.
See,
we haven't changed at all.
I had some hair back then, and you had a lot of hair.
I had a lot of hair. Right. Exactly. That was a fun time.
That's a lot of hair.
That's a lot of hair.
That's
yes, ma'am.
crazy. You
Yeah.
look like a completely different person.
But that's when you could pull that off. You know, those were the days that you could rock that stuff, you know? It
Wow.
was
So
like,
how old were you guys in this picture? Let's
Oh.
analyze this.
oh, we're
About
carbon
30,
dating.
30, 31.
Oh my gosh, we're going to carbon date ourselves right now.
I'm going to
No,
be 60 in a month.
you're going to be 60. Okay, so I was probably 25, 26 at the time.
Right.
That is
That's right.
unreal. So you
Yeah.
guys literally go way back.
We
Yeah.
do.
We hit it off right away. And just to plug it, Mike was in a band called Scatterbrain, and you could actually see some of their stuff on YouTube, like Beer Muscle or Don't Call Me Dude. Those are my two favorites. Really good stuff. And you can see what an amazing drummer Mike was too. But taking all that talent and kind of funneling into something that really is wellness based, which I love, of course, and he's got a passion for it, as you can hear it in his voice. It's really awesome. So, Mike, thanks so much for joining me today and sharing.
Thanks for having me, good brother. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, yeah, thank you for being our amazing guest. This was so much fun, and I love the video. Everybody out there, follow Dr. David Lippman. He is the chiropractor in the Laws of Life networking group. He's a sponsor. He's out here educating our community every day on how to stay healthy. So let's support him. Take a picture of the QR code on the screen, follow his links, visit his website, and you're also offering a complimentary 30-minute Zoom, right? For anyone interested?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So there you go. Reach out to Dr. Lippman. Tell him Blanca sent you. Remember, we're all one community. Let's stick together. Let's support one another. Thanks for watching The Laws of Physical Evidence. And Dr. David, thank you for all you do to keep us healthy.
Thank you, Blanca. Thank you, Mike.
See you later.
See you guys.